welcome. Great to see so many of you here. I'm pretty surprised we have so many. I'm Sonny Saunders, and the other co-founder, Bill Croakley, is not here this evening. The DPI-SIG is a part of the Naples FreeNet, which offers free internet service. So we are a 501c3 not-for-profit organization. How many of you here for the first time? Raise your hand. Oh my goodness gracious, that's great. Welcome. We would ask you to think about joining. You can join at halftime, and if you do join, then you're eligible for door prizes and all the other activities the club has, so we certainly would welcome you to join. DPI-SIG is run by volunteers. Everything we do is done by volunteers, and it takes a lot of volunteers. I'd like to just kind of go through the opportunities that we offer you as a photographer. If you remember the club, we have a monthly outing once a month. We have a monthly theme show where you submit pictures for a slideshow. We have 4 club competitions a year. We have a beginners competition workshop, and it's not just for beginners, but somebody who wants to learn more about competitions. We take 6 at a time to do that. We participate in 4 statewide digital and print competitions a year. That's throughout the whole state of Florida. We have a photography roundtable discussion group. Just sit around and discuss computers or anything to do with photography, programs or cameras. We have a Adobe Lightroom workshop one evening. We have a Photoshop workshop, an Elements workshop, a creative workshop. We have a basic lighting workshop. These are all different nights during the week. We have a pro show users group in case you want to make slides up. So you can see if there's anything you have an interest in, we have something going on one night a week that just pertains to that. And then we also have art shows. We participate in at least 4 art shows a year, and we've been very, very fortunate in being able to sell a lot of items at our art shows. We have a vendor's discount program that's offered on our website. We have a CD and DVD photography library. You can borrow learning material. We have a directory on our website that shows areas to go and photograph with directions how to get there and maps and whatnot. We have door prizes, I'm sure you're all aware of. We have an online magazine, probably the finest online magazine I've ever seen in photography. By all means, log on to our website and look at the magazine. I think there's 7 issues up there now. We have opportunities for not-for-profit organizations to, let's bring that up, to ask us to come and volunteer a photographer to come and do a dinner or a speaker or something of that nature. We've been doing that for a number of years, and it's really a great way to give back to the community. We have a lecture series, which you'll see the notices. We have about 6 or 7 of those a year, and those are free for members. And they're internationally known speakers from all over. We have a judges training workshop, and we have special social events. So that's what it takes it's what the club involves, and it takes a lot of people to do that. I think we're about 55 volunteers now. Would everybody with a green tag stand up? These are the people that make your club work. Thank you very much, volunteers. It's a big job, and they all put a lot of time and effort into it. We'll have a report from a few of those tonight. We'll start off with Mike Matthews, who will give us a report on outing.
Well, it's good to see everybody. I've seen a lot of images everybody has sent in from the Arcadia Rodeo, and I didn't get a chance to attend it, but gosh, you guys got some fabulous stuff. So I'm going to do a little slide presentation on that so you can kind of see what everybody was able to get. A lot of action, and I'll tell you, really sharp images, and looks like it was just a great, great time. I like some of the close-up stuff too. It's good. How many people out here went? I mean, there was quite a few. I mean, you see their hands. There was quite a few folks. Yeah, great. How about this guy? Great. these, but this was good. Classic. It was a good mixture of images. I mean, a lot of action in the Broncos and the bull riding, which was great. Facial expressions were wonderful. That's something I think I want to try. Looks like they had good crowds too on some of those days. Neat shots. It can't be good for your back. I can't. Ouch. That's an ouch. I think that's the agony of defeat. I like that one. That's cute. Couldn't figure out first what they were chasing. Then it came clear pretty quick.
Jason Cowboy.
I tried to put everybody's image in that sent something in, so hopefully you're all being represented there. But what a fun time that was. I must have been. I didn't say I wasn't there. I like the tongue action on this guy. He's like, ah. So that one hurts too. All right, well, congratulations. Everybody took pictures. Those were fabulous. So good job there. I'm just going to do a quick, short slideshow on Circle B Ranch. It doesn't seem like there's going to be enough folks going to this ranch, so I don't think it's going to happen this weekend. But just to let you know, if you do get a chance to go up there, I hope that you will. It's a fabulous place. It is about a 3-hour drive, so I know it takes a little bit of time. But there's a Hampton Inn in Lakeland. It's real easy to, great place to stay. It's about 10 miles from this place. But I'll just show you a few images of that taken I've been there 3 times this year already. And great, real old oak, mossy oak trees there. Probably kind of an enchanted forest. I mean, it's just amazing when you're walking through there. And if you get a little bit of fog, it's even better. Critters are everywhere. My wife took that picture a couple of months back. This was on one of the birding trips that Adam Jones and I were on recently, and this barred owl was sitting up there in this Spanish moss, just completely surrounded. John, you was at that as well, at that shot. Baby gray horned owls. There's Adam and my brother, and gators come out on the trail like that all the time, and I mean, there's 8, 10, 12 footers there you'll see every time you go. And there's little babies too, they're fun to get in the duckweed. A little bit of macro. The first bittern I'd ever seen, I saw there. Kind of cool. It's open, it's a water mitigation owned by the county, and it's got about 8 miles of trails, and there's different like 2-mile loops that you can go, and it's open from sunrise to sunset, no entry fee, nothing, it's free, and they got a great nature center, and the wildlife is amazing. I mean, sandhill cranes, if you want a sandhill crane shot, you can get them, and if you want to get them with their babies, now's the time to go. I was up there last year, took this shot of the sandhill feeding the baby a little frog, and that little guy, I was about 6 feet from him, thinking that trying to be quiet. He walked over and sat between my legs to get out of the sun. He was that tame. It's amazing. Limpkins, if you've ever wanted to photograph a limpkin, there's no better place. There's just hundreds of them. And then there's, just the regular songbird. So I encourage you, if you get a chance to go, I mean, there's all kinds of butterflies and other things to see, but it's just it's a wonderful park, well worth the trip. Get some fog, you get a lot of dew on the cobwebs, that's fun to get. How far away? From here, 3 hours, about 3 hours out to Lakeland, Florida.
So what's your favorite lens?
100 to 400, and that 7D Mark II is Canon. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's it. What I shot just about 95% of those with. Hornet nest, just see those. And Inga, obviously very common. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for coming, and appreciate your time.
Sunset, and then the Circle B Ranch. So they're all on our website, the outings. We have at least one outing every month. Next, we'll have a report from Priscilla McGuire on our night not-for-profit. Priscilla? Oh, there you are.
For some reason, the not-for-profit's gotten really busy this past month. We've done some various organizational shoots, and it's been a lot of fun. But the one that's coming up, I think the 26th through May 1st, is the United States Pickleball Championship, National Championship. They're actually going to have CBS Sports is going to be there, I think, on Saturday or Sunday to tape, to put it up for the whole world to see, which is really interesting. But I am going to coordinate the photographers for that. So if you're somebody that's interested in taking pictures of the pickleball tournaments and other festive activities that are going on, I'm going to be emailing you regarding this, and we're going to try something new. We're going to put the pictures up for sale, because it's all volunteer. They will give you a t-shirt and a paddle, official paddle, pickleball paddle, for helping out. But we're going to try to put the pictures up for sale online, and all proceeds for who's ever took that picture will go to you. So if you want to volunteer, I have sold things online before, and it's not as profitable as I had hoped, but you could make a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there. It might be worth your time. And maybe we could do it at 2 or 3 hour intervals, so you don't get too hot for being out in the sun. You look like you're confused, Christine.
I have to look around Frank's head.
Oh, okay. So when I'm going to send you out the information per email, if you're interested, check back with me. I think we should do it 2 to 3 hour intervals. Yes.
Is there going to be any priority for parking? The facility up there,
I know.
many people are going to be there, and parking is going to really be difficult, and if we volunteer photographers, I think we'll have any opportunity. I
Well, I would think that since Publix Plaza's there, maybe they'll be able to, you know, shuttle people between the plaza. But that's a good question, I'll ask them. I don't think that they realize how small the park is.
Yeah, 40 courts.
They have 40 courts?
40 courts.
Wow. So this will be interesting. And so if you're into going to see what this is all about, like I'm probably going to be spending a lot of time there, it'll be fun. There'll be a lot of things going on. So I'll get back to you via email, and then if you're interested, you can get back to me and we'll try to set up a schedule for everybody. Okay, thank you.
For volunteers for not-for-profit, we've got free dinners. This is the first chance we've had a chance to sell the pictures, but this was their suggestion, that if we take pictures of the different people, that we could sell them online. So it's a way to benefit ourselves. Richard Tyndall is going to talk to us about the competitions. Hi, Richard.
Richard, I had to renew my passport. That's the good news. I had to get a new picture taken. And then I looked at it, and there was this really old dude looking at me. And then to reinforce that, because I sent that in today, I left all of your ribbons sitting on the dining room table so that I wouldn't forget them tonight. So that really old dude messed up yet again. I'll bring them to the round table. I'll have them at the plug meeting, and hopefully someone will hand me a walking stick and I'll bring them to the next meeting. So I apologize. But the reason that I'm here tonight is we're in the midst of our second competition. And why haven't you entered? Planes, everybody know what a plane is? Trains, choo-choo things, yeah? And automobiles. All of those exist somewhere in your life experience. And yes, there needs to be a train or a plane or an automobile in your picture. Giving me a photograph of the sky because planes sometimes fly there just isn't going to work, guys. We have 3 judges, and these 3 judges award you points. You get 20 points from these people. And part of those points is how well do you sit there and conform to the theme. And some of them have no sense of humor. They're not a pushover like I am. So let's not make this too obtuse. I'm not going to suggest that they're not bright, but no sense of humor for sure. So you've got for the rest of this month until the 30th, that's like almost 3 weeks. Taxes are done, got no more excuses. You did get your taxes done, didn't you? If not, put in your extension tonight. Yeah, I know, but you're going to spend the weekend trying to forget that you're supposed to have done that, and then Monday you're going to be hungover, and then you too will have to look at that weird old dude in your passport photo. So, get your entries in. You get 3 amongst all the categories. It's free. It's free, and it gives you a chance to get better. And if you can't find a plane, a train, or an automobile, call me. I'll show you what one looks like. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you, Richard. All right. Nick Provenzo is going to tell us something about art shows. I bet Nick's all the way in the back.
Finished with the Broadway Palm. 5 pieces were sold. It was fairly well received. Unfortunately, we have a little Miss Piggy in our organization who sold 3 all by her little lonesome. She does not share. We won't mention her name, but she does not share. She hogs all the photos that are being sold. Obviously, people like them. The next show is in June. It's going to be at the Central Library. We will be getting information out to you. We want everyone to participate. This is a great opportunity. For those who were interested, we are conducting the second training session, workshop, whatever you want to call it, at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation at the same time that the pub meeting is. There are frames over there. I promised those who came the last time who said, I can't find a frame anywhere, you don't have an excuse. There are frames here. You can put them together. They are all the correct sizes for the show. So this gives you an opportunity, and they're reasonable. I'm cleaning out my garage. My beloved saw some stupid program about hoarders. It was bad. It was really bad. They were precious, but they're here for you. And we have some more venues that are coming up. As they firm up, we will be telling you about them. One of them, which I'm quite interested in, gives us the opportunity to do specialty images of the particular area that this gallery is located in, and unfortunately it has some of the best bird locations on the west coast of Florida. I was once there under duress, but they're interested in having photos of them things. So anyway, last, those of you who donated graciously images to the Friends of the Library have tickets for you to go to concerts. There are 3 concerts. The first one is on April 29th, and that is on Tchaikovsky, and that is at the Moorings, and it'll be, you can get tickets for that. There's a sign-up sheet over there. Then on the 30th is Bella Laris, which I suspect is Russian music. And then on Monday, the 2nd, is a Latin jazz trio, which will be taking place at the United Methodist Church of North Naples. So they showed their appreciation. That was very well received. We got a tremendous amount of free, well, it wasn't free because we donated, but we got a tremendous amount of publicity. They love us. They want to do more shows for us. And we just keep growing and growing. Thank you.
Nick, the Central Avenue Library Art Show has been one of our best. It's been the most successful, I think, in selling, other than Marco. We have sold more things than Marco Island. Other thing I wanted to mention is those of you who entered prints in the F3C print competition, the prints are here. So during the break, if you'd go over and pick up your prints, we'd appreciate it. Next up is, I'm up next. I want to mention on each of the tables I have a flyer from Maxis Gamez. He is our speaker that's coming up. He'll be here on May the 7th from 9 to 12 here at the auditorium in the, at the college. And then there's 4 more scheduled, and I haven't posted over there on the wall. You'll see a picture of the other 4, some of them are listed on here, and I'm signing up a few more. So as many as you can. These have been great. Every speaker we've had, everybody says is better than the last one, and so they just keep getting better and better. So I appreciate it if as many of you could would show up. We definitely need to support them. They're paid for by sponsors. Members in the news. Okay. My partner in crime normally reads this, and he's not here. The following members had sold something or have something displayed. They were in the news. If you're a member and you have something in the news, be sure and email us so that we can make an announcement. John Holzman took first place in Blue Ribbon for his photograph Alhambra Reflections in the annual Pelican Landings Art Festival. In addition, his welcoming to the Seabirds was accepted for the juried show Surf and Turf at the Bonita Center for the Arts.
It's actually Joe Holtzman, but it's okay.
It's what?
It's actually Joe Holtzman.
Joe Holzman.
Joe.
Joe Holzman. What did I say?
John.
John.
Oh, sorry about that, Joe.
That's
I don't, yeah.
That's my evil twin.
That's why Bill always reads these. I'm dyslexic and anyway, that's why Bill. Anyway, Mary Short won 4 blue ribbons and best in division in the color, and Val Brill won 4 blue ribbons and best in division black and white at the Collier County Fair. So we took a clean house on that one. Art David's monochrome, Who You're Looking At, was accepted into this year's Camera USA exhibit at the Von Liebig Center. In addition, Lori Freeman, Jim Robillard, and Nick Provenzo have also had items accepted in that Camera USA. Lori Freeman's image of a zebra sold at the Naples Art Association 51st Founders Jury Award exhibit. Christine Cook, Art David, Marcel Samples had pictures sell at the DPI-SIG Art Show held at the Broadway Palm Theater. One of those names was one that sold 3. I won't say any names, but she was there. Ed Carroll's rodeo picture, Handstands, won the picture of the day on April 14th in the Naples Daily News contest, Capturing Paradise. So that's our members that were in the news. Sometimes we have more, sometimes we have less. Big hand for everybody. Now it's time for public announcements. This is your chance if you have something you want to talk about dealing with photography. Mike has one. Oh.
Those of you who ordered the cheap Chinese GoPro style action cams, I brought them in. I've got some accessories that can be had with them. See me at the break or after the show if you're on my list. I don't think I'm going to have any extras after those who have pre-ordered get theirs, but if you've asked me for one, I've got one here for you. Also, show of hands, who's going to Chili's afterwards so I can call them and get seats reserved? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 or so. Okay, that's where all the cool kids go. It's the show after the show. It's a lot of fun.
We have to have our own restaurant here pretty soon, the way it's going, the number of hands. Mike?
Just a couple of quick things for me. If anybody's going to St. Augustine Birding and Photo Festival, I'm going to be up there leading 2 days of macro workshops for that group. And I know Joe's got a birding workshop coming up there as well. If you've not been to St. Augustine or the Alligator Farm, again, it's one of those fabulous places definitely to check out. Okay. Hang on, we'll get the lights up. And then the last thing I have for you, if anybody's interested in doing another macro workshop, I've got one more coming up. It'll be on June 4th. It's a Saturday. It's a full-day workshop. It'll be at the Homewood Suites in Fort Myers. It'll be the last one that I'll be doing this year until sometime in the fall before I give all these animals back to their the collectors and so forth. So if you want to get the red-eyed tree frog shots or dart frogs, I've got about 40 animals I'll be bringing to that. And if you see me at the break, if you're interested, I'll tell you more about it. Thank you.
Yeah, be sure and give that information to Betty, and we'll put it in the newsletter also. Okay, and anybody else? Joe, I knew you wouldn't let me down, Joe. It's a long trip across this room, jeez.
You got your exercise today.
Yeah, I did.
Thank you. As Mike mentioned, I'm going to be doing my St. Augustine workshop. That's going to be May 4th to May 7th. That's a Wednesday to a Saturday, so you'll be back here for Mother's Day on Sunday. We still have a couple openings on that, but we will be closing it out. So if you've been wondering whether to do it or not, this is the time because you're down to the wire. In addition to that, as you probably know, or if you don't know, we're the drop-off point for Southern Photo Technical Services in Miami. So if you have a camera that needs cleaning or repair, you can drop it off with us right here at the meeting or at our studio, and we can take care of it for you. That's about all I have.
Joe, anybody else? Nick? Figure out how to get over there, Nick.
Somebody forgot to mention Evelyn Perez sold one of her images at the Broadway Palm.
Somebody has to tell us. Thank you, Nick.
Last month I mentioned that one of my clients has 2 lenses for sale. Unfortunately, the 600 millimeter went, is Ken here tonight? Ken, there he is. Ken was the lucky recipient of that 600 millimeter, but there is still a 300 2.8 for sale. So a Canon mount. So if anybody's interested, see me and I will put you in touch with the owner. Thank you.
It's a really good point, too. You need to tell us if you sold something. We have no way of knowing. The Broadway Palm didn't tell us anything, so you have to tell us. And the same thing is if you have something going on or if you're in the paper, unless you tell us, we don't know. And then, we leave somebody out. That's really bad. But here again, It's up to you to tell us that you won. Ross?
Yeah, this is just a quick reminder. All of you that had looked into the program Procure Plus, the April 30th deadline for obtaining that discount, which is 15% off whichever license you would elect to buy. It's a 30-day trial period. It basically gives you about the next 15 days to try it out, and if you like it, to obtain that discount for 15%. If there's anybody has a question afterward and they want to ask about further details, just look me up. I'll be here until after the end of the program. Thank you.
Ross, anybody else? Speak up now. Oh. John.
Is Peter Dellenberg here tonight? You requested a DVD. Would you see me at the break so I can give you your DVD?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's it. Oops. Dennis.
Does anyone here know about Eagle Lake Community Park?
Yes.
I just discovered it last week, and I took a bicycle out there in my lenses and drove around. It's about 2 miles around behind the fields. It's a beautiful sight. I mean, it's one of the nicest places I've been. And if you want black-legged stilts, they were all over the place.
There's no cattails there. Yeah, it's really nice now. It's yeah, there's a lot of birds there. It's a great park. It's right here in East Naples, very close. We used to have outings there, but we've gotten outings are getting more advanced now, and that's probably good. Okay, any other announcements? Very good. If you have any announcements, be sure and turn the information into Betty, and we'll get it in the newsletter. If you have a business or you want to promote anything, that's what the table there is for. So be sure to put all your advertisements there. Okay, Jim Robillard is going to give us a presentation on it. You don't take a photograph, you make it. So Jim?
So the last couple meetings we've had great presentations on composition from Christine and Frank. So I thought I'd take a little different approach tonight, tell you a little bit about my process and focus more on some of the other things that need to happen to make a great photograph happen. And this is a quote from Ansel Adams. And as you know, he really he was, in my mind, the first HDR person. If you look at his negatives, you know, and what he does to them, there's a lot of work that goes into it after the shutter is released. So what I want to talk about today is just going through, first of all, you take the workflow planning, envisioning what you want to take, evaluating before you take that. The execution, of course, is the taking of the photograph. The process, which we'll spend a lot of time on, printing and sharing, and then of course practicing. So planning. So let's just talk for a moment about, we'll pretend we're going to go to Corkscrew today. So we're going to go to Corkscrew. What time is sunrise? So that's one of the questions. You have to ask yourself, what time can we get in? What's our goal? What are we going to take when we get there? I went there, didn't know what was really there, didn't know it was as dark as it was, and so, you know, the first time you go there, you don't know a lot of those things about a lot of the places you go take a shot at. So it really pays to either ask people, do some research online. A great place to do that, you know, is just Google it. Look at the images other people have taken. It's not that you're going to copy it, but it gives you an idea. It helps you focus on what kind of gear you're going to take and what you intend to shoot. As I've gotten older, I don't like to take my whole camera bag. Like I went to Cuba with Joe, I took 2 lenses. I took the 1740 wide on the full frame, and I took the 24-105 on the crop body, because that's all I wanted to carry around. If you're going out birding, you're going to take a 600. So you really need to think about it, and that's my goal tonight, is to get you to think about rather than just press the shutter. Some of the apps that help you. Here's one, and Bob Brown's got a great article coming up in the magazine here May 1st on apps. This is one he didn't have in here that I use a lot, and it has great locations. We were just talking about Eagle Lakes. You can see that Eagle Lakes is one of my favorite, but remember, we're going to Corkscrew. So if you pull up Corkscrew, it's going to give you all the sightings there under recent 111. So you kind of get a feel for the birds you want to look at. and I wanted to get painted buntings, but I didn't know where the painted buntings were, and nor did I know that they were in the dark. So when I got there, this is the shot I got. It's not a bad shot. The problem is it's at 3200 ISO. So when you go, that's just to emphasize, you really have to plan. Take your better beamer, think about it. Here's another app that Bob talks a lot about in the magazine. This is Photo Pills. So this is from the tower at Marsh Trails. It's a great program. It has a feature called virtual reality. You shoot it, I was shooting from the tower. On that date, it's going to tell you where the sunset is, it's going to tell you where it is, so you can pre-plan. So you can, Bob uses it a lot for his Milky Way shots, but you can use it for sunrise, sunset. It's going to tell you, you can go to the location, pre-plan, your composition and what you want to do there. So it's a great, great tool. When you've done your planning, then you really need to start, when you get there, start to really pre-visualize what do you want to do with that shot. And think, it's too easy today to just press that shutter button, you get 10 shots per second. That's really a detriment. You really need to think about your composition, think about what you want to accomplish with that shot, and we'll analyze a couple examples here in a moment. So, and then of course compose, which we're not going to spend a lot of time on today because we've had the great presentations. But here was an example. I was out in Bandon over the summer. On my bucket list, get out, 6 o'clock, go to the beach. When I come out of the camper, it's foggy. Well, that changes what I was going to do. I was going to do sunrise photos. Well, all of a sudden you can hardly see in front of you. So I switched out the lenses. I went to the Lee 10-stop neutral density, and I did all long exposures. So, that just changes, and you have to think through what you want to accomplish, even when you're given, a situation that you might, that you're never going to go back there. Different shot was with Nancy Garrison. We were shooting the white pellies a million miles away when all of a sudden they start flying at us. Well, that's a different type of shot. You have to analyze what you're going to do there. As you can see, the sun is coming from behind the bird, so you know it's going to be backlit, which is not ideal. And you know it's going to be very noisy and dark on the underside of the wing. So you have to compensate in your exposure. And of course, you're shooting at a high shutter speed as opposed to those long exposures that we saw previously. Same here. Great Smoky Mountains. You want to slow down, have silky water in there. Well, that's a slower shutter speed. In this particular case, I couldn't really get it slow enough, and so you put the polarizer on. Even though it's a black and white shot, it's going to knock down your shutter speed so you can get that. So again, it's thinking through what you want to accomplish with that photograph. The executing part is not easy, but it's the technical part that we all talk about. It's the shutter speed, it's the ISO. If you've not heard the term ETTR, that's exposed to the right. Really important with digital. You want to get some information on the histogram over in that right quadrant, because with a digital, it's much easier to save you don't want blinkies, but you want information over there. You don't want everything over on the shadow side because you're going to get a lot of noise. And then the last thing there is know your camera. Last year I got a 7D Mark II, and I studied the books, looked at the videos. I went on a workshop with Artie Morris, and in those 3 days, Artie taught me more about that camera and the little things about it. I mean, it needs to be second nature, and the cameras are getting more and more complex. They're like little mini computers, and so you really, really need to know it and have it be second nature. This is a good example of that. I was at Marsh Trail, was getting ready to leave. The bird, the green heron, again, not an ideal situation. The sun is behind the bird, so you're getting the backlit. And I knew that the bird, as dark as it was, wasn't going to show up very well, the color. And I didn't have the flash again. So I just hit the pop-up flash, and so that's just fill flash from the little flash on top of the 7D Mark II. So processing. The goal with processing is to preserve detail in the shadow and in the highlights. If you look at a thunderstorm and you look at the cloud up there, you can see all the detail in that white cloud. And likewise in the shadows. The camera isn't as good at doing that. And so our goal is to bring out that full range of tones, bring out our creative vision about what we want to do, and then minimize any distractions in the photograph. So here is actually a film negative. It's taken in the Alabama hills. So you can see this is the scanned 4x5. And this is the print. And so you can see all the detail that's in the clouds. You get the near and far and mid-ground juxtaposition of the composition. The other thing I would say is, go back to your work and rework it, because this was the rework. So you can see it's very subtle. You can see the contrast changed in the midground. Here's a shot. This is a raw. You don't see too many people's raw shots. So this is the raw from this summer in Arches. And that's the finished product. So go back and look at that. You say, what the heck was he thinking about? And so this uses a lot of NYX color effects. And we'll go through a little bit in detail here in a moment. So for me, my workflow is as follows. I import into Lightroom, keyword, minor global changes, take the default sharpening off. I do not sharpen in Lightroom. I then export as a smart object to Photoshop. I'll do the NYX Color Effects Pro, the secret recipe, which will be revealed in the next slide. Contrast masking, if you haven't done that, that's taking the unsharp mask, put those three numbers in. This is an Artie Morris trick, but it's like a clarity slider in Photoshop. And local contrast with luminosity masks, those are the things that Alistair talked about at our convention a few years ago. And then dodge and burn layers back into Adobe Camera Raw, which is Lightroom, in Photoshop to do haze and local color. With all those things there, none of those get applied to the whole photo. In almost every case, they get a mask put on top of them and they get painted back into specific areas. If you were to go back, to that other photograph with the sky and the arches, you know, the sky blue is added up into the clouds. If you use, for instance, Richard's going to talk about Color Effects Pro, if you use it on the whole picture, it's going to screw up the sky. So what you want to do is just use it judiciously in different areas. And that's really important because you'll end up with a lot of noise and artifacts. The other thing from a process standpoint is it comes back into Lightroom, and I may make a few minor changes in Lightroom, but that's where I play with the cropping. I very rarely do rule of thirds. I'm more into diagonals, golden spiral, lots of triangles. You know, the rule of thirds works okay for video, but doesn't really work very well for birds at all. And it's you know, has problems in landscape, so it's not one of my favorites. There are a lot of other ways to compose that you should spend some time learning about. While he's getting that up and running, I'll tell you the difference between my process for landscape and for birds.
If you hit that one button on there, you can black the screen. What is that?
What's that? So my process for birds is different. It's essentially the same, except think of a bird as it's really going to be two different photographs. So you're going to have everything that you did in that workflow there, you're going to do on the bird, and you're going to do it judiciously. You may just do the sharpening or the Color Effects Pro on its head and its beak. You're not going to do it in the dark areas because that just creates noise. You're going to do your luminosity masks or levels adjustments and curves adjustments, you know, on the feathers, and you may do it several times. One for the back feathers, one for the underside. There'll be two different layers because you want it to look different. And you don't want to create any noise. And then the background is almost like a separate photograph. And so in the workflow, that's going to be, you have to select the bird, and everything in the background you're going to do different. You're going to minimize the noise, you're going to blur it, you're going to do everything to take the distractions and make the background kind of creamy, if you will, and take the distractions away from the bird, which is your focus. So from a process standpoint, they're fundamentally the same, but you have to think of the bird as two different photographs. Background is different than the bird. Oh, the secret recipe. So here are my, there is no secret recipe. I do use the detail extractor a lot. I did buy the Picure last month. If you're going to use Picure, don't use the detail extractor. And don't use Picure on the background. It's again, you're going to have to do the whole photograph, but then you paint it into the areas you really want sharp. I did 4 bird photographs this morning. They're unbelievable, the amount of feather detail you can get, but you don't want to do that to the background. And that's true of most of those Color Effect Pro things. Tonal contrast I use on every single one. Some of these are special purpose, and then of course the luminosity masks. So that was the bird one. Here's again some raw photos. This is taken in arches of the, so that's normal, 2 under, 2 over. And so there's the photograph. And so the steps here are Color Effects Pro, Vivenza, we have ACR, we have all the unsharp masks, luminosity masks to the sky, 2 more luminosity masks to the different clouds. And so you end up with that photograph, which is, it's only okay. So I said, well, what about black and white? So this is Silver Effects Pro. So after I maximized it in Silver Effects Pro, or in Color Effects, I flipped it over to Silver Effects, and I liked that. But I saw this when I was working on it, and I said, well, I like the clouds better. So merged them together. So there's the 2, there's the mask, another levels adjustment, some burning and dodging, smart filters, and you end up with that, which is totally different than that. So that's what I mean when you make the photograph. There's a lot of steps, it seems like, but you have to have, you're trying to express your artistic vision. So you need to experiment. Think outside the box. It's the attention to the little details, lots of layers, and really using, if you want to use color or black and white, look at the Silver Effects Pro. It's a great, great program. Local contrast, you can do that with quick masks if you don't want to do it with luminosity masks. So here was a photograph that the Nancy's and Diane and I, we all took probably the same photo. These are the white pelicans over at Fort Myers Beach, but there's the black and white. That was the first place for the year for FC3 in black and white, that photograph. Here's a scene in Nevada. Love the scene. Very warm tones, the chair, the fireplace, the wrench, coal thing. Here's the black and white. It's a totally different thing. You're looking at the textures. So all of a sudden you can see the metal on there, the wrench up at the top. So when I say think outside the box, those are the kinds of things you have to look at. I would encourage you, Christine really got me to think about printing. I went out and spent a lot of money on a printer, and I really love printing. I used to print in the darkroom, in the wet darkroom. That's what photography for me is really about. You have to hold it in your hand, and you can't see the detail on your screen. It's only 72 DPI, you're printing at 360. So, and the paper gives you a lot more options, and it gives you the ability to learn. So this was that photograph we saw earlier, but this is the printing dialog. And so that's the Canon printer, but you can see there were more masks thrown in there to enhance different areas. And the print is sitting on the table, so you can go at the break, pick it up, hold it, and look at the paper, look at the level of detail. This was shot in Bodie. You can see it's noon. Nice truck. Not very good. How are we going to shoot that? So that's the best I could come up with. Low angle, 17 millimeter on a full frame, down low. Sun is up, 11 o'clock. And that's the best I could do in color. And there it is in black and white. And that print is there, and that's printed on metallic paper because of the metal truck, and that's the difference that printing gives you. It gives you the options of your presentation, and that really, in this case, shows off the metal and the texture. This was the print for Camera USA, but it was also the first place color print in FC3 this year. And here you can see what I was talking about eliminating those distractions. If I were printing this not for a contest, I'd probably take those leaves out over there, but that background was pushed way back, yet all the detail is still in the feathers of the bird. Same with this one. This was another, this came in third. This is pretty much a raw shot. The big thing was bringing the fish in and heightening the warm tones on the fish and on the bird. So before you make the shot, don't spray and pray. Don't hit that shutter button and take a million shots. Really think about what you want to accomplish. Look for the detail in the shadows, sculpt with light. We're trying to take a two-dimensional item and make it three-dimensional. So use the burn and dodge layers and really print your work, fine-tune the details and explore your options there. And most importantly, share your work. This club is a great opportunity to have exhibits, contests, critiques, and will really improve your photography. So that's it. Thank you.
The reason I'd asked Jim to do this was I think it was in the last contest. I think he won 3 blues and 3 yellow. He didn't leave any room for anybody else. So I said, gee, we could certainly use a presentation. It was outstanding. All right, let's see what's next here. Mary Short is going to give us a present report, more than anything else, on the DPI-SIG first digital print competition.
All right, I do not have any ribbons yet. So this is just everyone's pictures. And the print competition will be just a list of everyone's names, and next meeting I will have a slideshow with everyone's photos and winners for that. Wow. In the advanced category, blue ribbon winners, Joe Fitzpatrick was the top scoring winner with Magnificent Mutter. Christine Cook had a blue ribbon, Brothers of Botswana, and Robert Kennedy for Peggy's Cove at Sunset. Continuing with the blue advanced ribbons, Surveying the Kingdom, Jim Rubillard. The Leader, Dennis A. Holt. And Awkward Adolescent, Christine Cook. With a yellow ribbon for the advanced category, Fastest, Dennis A. Holt. Fog at Cades Cove, Edwin Cohen. And Perfect Reflection, Jim Rubillard. Also in the yellow advanced category, Afternoon Snack by Mary Short. And White Wedding Veil, Jim Rubillard. Yellow advanced mono category, Marco Domes, Edwin Cohen. Okay, the one on the left is the blue ribbon winner by Christine Cook, Camp Invader. And on the right, this was the new category, the documentary category, Silent Sentinel by Mary Short. And in the beginner category, both of two ribbons are won by Val Brill, Rushing Water won a blue ribbon, and Veil Blowing in the Wind won a yellow ribbon. That sums up the print category. The next, like I said, is just a list of all the winners for the digital category, neither one of which I have ribbons for yet, so we're waiting on those. These are the blue ribbon winners, and if everyone just wants to read them, they're also available on the F3C website. We had a lot of winners from our club in this competition, so we should all be proud. And this is the yellow ribbons in the Advanced Digital. Advanced Documentary, we did quite a few in the documentary category this round. The ones on top are the blue ribbons, and the ones on the bottom are the yellow ribbons. And in the mono category, again, the blue ribbons are up top, and the yellow ribbons below. In the beginner class, color, blue ribbons on top, yellow ribbons below. And again, just go to f3c.org and you can get a list of all these winners and actually view the pictures. But we will have a slideshow next month for the winners. The next print competition actually opens tomorrow. It didn't really coincide with this meeting or next meeting. So somehow, if you are entering prints, you need to get them either to the women's workshop, which is the first Thursday of the month, or get in touch with me and we'll make arrangements to get them somehow. And my email is mshort62@hotmail.com. I'll give it to Betty, so if anyone needs to get a hold of me. And those are the winners for the F3C competitions.
All right. Is Rosie here? Rosie's not here. Okay, we're going to take about a 15-minute break, and you can pick up your prints. Harry's got some stuff here. We have some shirts for sale, and then we'll get back together here. By the way, the sale of the shirts